Let's welcome him in, Garry St. What's up, Gary? How you doing, my man?
Hi, fellas. Happy Thursday.
Hey, Saint. Look, let's put the rat on the table. You worked with the you worked with the great Don Nelson, and if there was ever a guy who could look at a team and say, "Yeah, that's about 40 wins. That's about 28. That's about 50," it was Don Nelson, right?
He was really good at that.
So tell me why we shouldn't look at this Warrior team as anything more than 29-29 and probably headed to an early exit.
And when we talked to another genius named Bill Parcells, he says, look at your record. That tells you who you are.
So are they 29-29, or can they get this thing done?
Matt, you can make all kinds of excuses about the injuries and blown leads and all that kind of thing and say they should be 4 or 5 over, but they're not. And at the end of the day, you're going down tonight without Wiggins. That's a big key to me. With him being out, I didn't expect this. We were doing a radio show Tuesday night. I didn't know anything about this. And they're going to have a very, very difficult time down there because LeBron's going to be ready and Wiggins is the best matchup for him. Davis says he's awake, so we'll see if he's ready to play. And they've made some good acquisitions down there, and they're going to try to get back in the hunt. So, yeah, it's easy to get up to 6 if you win about 6 games in a row, but it's easy to fall out of this thing, too.
Saying I work with a guy from Reading, PA, and at the beginning of this season, he said, you know what, Goo? This has a we believe feel to it. And I'm a lover, not a fighter. And I was like, save all that. What? But as we've gotten through the season, Saint, there's so much going on with this Warrior team. And before I ask you about the product on the court, you've done it all in this league. But when you heard Bob Myers' contract situation is what it is, we just played, Mr. Lacob's comments on the Kawakami podcast. I'm kind of nervous with that, but can you share with us what you think and what you thought when you heard about Bob's contract situation?
Well, I've only read what's going on. I didn't listen to what Tim and Joe Lacob had to say, but at the end of the day, he's the sounding board. He's the major piece in the ownership group, and they'll make a decision, and they're going to live by it. At the end of the day, Bob Myers deserves a new contract, and he deserves to be paid one of the top 3 in the league. And if they don't pay him, he'll go somewhere else because he does have 4 rings, and he's a first-class guy. And I always use this expression. You have to coach up. When you're general manager, you have to coach up. And I think he's done that with relationships with Peter Guber and Joe Lacob. You got to coach down to your coaching staff, and then you got to coach down to your players, and you got to coach parallel with the agents. So there's a lot of coaching that goes into it. And Bob Myers has done a first-class job. And you can ask anybody. I mean, I'm biased because I think the guy's tremendous, but I think if you ask anybody in the league, he should be one of the top 3 compensated guys just because nobody, and I'm underlining nobody's done what he's done.
Garry St. joining us on 95.7 The Game. Matt Steinmetz along with Daryl the Guru Johnson. Sometimes I just look at it and here's what they're trying to do. And this is just, to me, how do you maximize Steph Curry right now and for the immediate future without jeopardizing the long term? How hard is that going to be to do?
Matt, we've had a lot of chats about teams, and the window stays open for X amount of time. And this window is starting to close because you've got guys getting older, and you've got a lot of injuries. And, I think they were going to have a heck of a year this year. I really felt that. And I felt like they'd be in the top 5. And I didn't care if they were going to be 3, 4, or 5, because if they play somebody in a 7-game series healthy, that experience, that championship pedigree goes a long, long way. And, when you look at Steph, just a marvelous job taking care of his body and the condition because he was playing at an MVP level. And, you've got that ligament issue. Those take time to heal. And to be honest with you, the Warriors don't have a lot of time. So, if he comes back after another 5 games, that takes you past the Clipper game. And I haven't studied the schedule beyond then, so I thought they were going to win 4 out of 5 out of this 5-game series. I thought the toughest team was the Clippers. So with that said, now, and they're light tonight without Wiggins, this is going to be a tall order. They should be happy if they can go 3-2, and they're not going to gain any ground in the position they're in.
Saint, let me ask you a personal question. We saw the trading deadline come and go. I thought the Warriors had their next best big man since Chris Webber, so I was hoping like hell Wiseman, would pan out. But can you walk us through when what you saw from Wiseman and when maybe you said, it might take a little longer or it may not work, if you even came to that conclusion for him as a Golden State Warrior?
Well, for him to be on the Detroit Pistons is a perfect scenario for him. They're not a playoff team. They're building. And their main guy is out. So they're going in the right direction next year. Here, before Steph's injury, and I don't know what's going on with Wiggins, you're saying, hey, we're going to get back into this thing, get out of this play-in thing. And we can still make some strong music here in the playoffs in the West, even though it is gotten so much better. So, as Joe Lacob said about a month ago, he said, we do have time to consider here. Time is a factor. So then you've got to make a judgment on the progress of the guy. Now, everything I heard, terrific young man, very, very hard worker, unfortunate with the injuries. And here's the unfortunate thing that I think has just got him. He doesn't have any experience. Yeah. Matt, help me. What did he play, 2 games in Memphis?
3.
3. Okay.
But one might have been against the D3 school, Steiny.
I didn't know that. Maybe it was Franklin and Marshall. Anyway, with that said, I just experience is huge in this league. And when I evaluate him, I look at the athleticism, and I really like it. I think he's got a bright upside. But my concern is his instincts for the game. And sometimes that takes a long time. You need experience on the floor. And I don't see him, for example, I can see him rim running. I can see him finishing on a pick and roll. But I don't see him pursuing the ball, anticipating the ball on the glass. I don't see him rotating from weak to strong to contest a shot or block a shot. Instead of going, boom, right now, he's like 1,001, 1,002. Oh, it's time to go. And I don't see that yet in him. And that will come in time, you hope. And if it does, I can see this guy. I don't know if this is fair. I could see a guy averaging like 13 points, maybe 8 rebounds, and he went that high. Is that good enough? Probably not. There's going to be a lot of, discussion. Well, that you shouldn't have taken him. And at the end of the day, they saw a young big and thought they could bring him along, and he needs time.
Sandy, this reminds me of when Don Nelson said, you look around the league at other 7-footers, other teams have the big bruiser, and that team over there's got the big dog, and I got Big Smoothie. Victor Alexander, God love him.
Oh, gosh. That's a great memory. Big Smoothie. Want me to tell you the story about Big Smoothie?
Absolutely.
Give it to us.
All right, so we're playing the San Antonio Spurs, and we know he had a weight issue. So Nelly had him make a promise to him that he was not going to order food on the road, that he was going to let Nelly know what he was doing. So we're playing the Spurs, and we're down there. I think at that time we were playing the Alamo Dome, and we're staying at the Hyatt down along the Riverwalk. So Nelly says, okay, let's let everybody check in, and then meet me down in the lobby. He talks to the contact person for the hotel, and once you know, we said, now listen, we want to monitor this guy's room, and if he makes a phone call to the kitchen, we're sitting right here. Let us know. So he orders 2 milkshakes, 2 cheeseburgers, and an order of fries. So they come out, and they tell us, hey, your guy, Victor, Big Smoothie, just put an order in. So the devious Nelly says, okay, that's fine. Let us know when it's cooked, and we'll come and get it, and we'll bring it up the dumbwaiter. So there we are. He's got me with the white chef's hat on, with a white server's coat on, and I'm carrying the tray. We go up to the room, and Nelly knocks on the door, and he says, room service! And Victor opens up the door, and he sees me, and he sees Nelly. He almost fell right on the floor.
Oh.
And Nelly's yelling at him, I got you. You lied to me. You lied to me. Oh, it was great. Those are the games.
Hey, State, I got to tell you this. I can't say too much, but I need to hear more stories like that because the people don't know. You and me, sometime in March in Emeryville on Bay Street. So I'll get to hear more stories like that. I'm excited, baby.
We're going to have a good afternoon. I love it.
Saint, the rest of the year should be a lot of fun, and it's going to be intriguing, and kind of can't wait for it to start. Have a great one, my man.
Call me, and we'll talk about the great horse race.
All right. We'll do that. That's Garry St. Jean.